Hello chess fans, we're back with another CM training video against Star Hypnos. Okay, so we see e4, e5, knight f3, and we see knight f6. So let's see, what variation do I want to go for? I kind of don't want to play this boring knight takes e5. And so I'll just play knight c3, and let's go for a Ruy Lopez, 4 knights Ruy Lopez, because this is a little bit more interesting than that line. So let's castle. And here my opponent can either go for d6 or castles. Both are playable options, I think. And then on castles, I think you have the center fork trick. And on d6, I think I have d4. So they're both playable options. And yeah, my opponent's already thinking, which is a good sign, which means my opponent's out of theory. And we see d6, which I think is a playable move, but I think it's inferior to castles. But I don't think this bishop c5 line is supposed to be that good in the first place. So let's go knight f5, attacking the pawn on g7. And now I'm going to go bishop g5. And yeah, the threat right now is to go knight d5, and there shouldn't be a good way for my opponent to combat getting doubled pawns. But I also am accepting double pawns with takes, but at least I'll have the bishop pair, and my opponent shouldn't have the bishop pair. And I know this position, kind of know this position, because I've had a similar position to this over the board. And I think in this position my opponent played knight e5 actually. In an over the board game I took, and after knight d5 the position was very close to winning. And yeah, I think if my opponent takes here and takes here and plays knight d4, which is I think the main line, I might be wrong about that. There's some sort of idea where you go for a b4 move. I don't know where it is, but okay, my opponent does go knight e5. Wow, that's really funny because I've had the same position over the board. And b4 was what I think I played here over the board, and after here. But no, I think I played knight d5 over the board because I was willing to trade this for this. Or no, queen f3. What was the move? I don't remember what I played, because what I don't want to allow is I don't want to allow my opponent to consolidate. Like, okay, if here knight e5, this pin is still annoying. For example, like if I go queen f3, I thought my opponent might be able to consolidate with like queen e8 and avoid double pawns. So I'm gonna go knight d5. And we'll see what my opponent does. c6. Alright, so let's just take this. They take back. And thinking here looks good. d5 is met by e5. And with this I want to go for queen here. Though after here might get complicated. Queen here, so I can go like queen h4 and then build some more pressure and threaten stuff like takes, queen h6 ideas, and then winning this. I also have the threat to go rook d1 and e5. So yeah, lots of threats here. If rook e8, I think I'm going to go here, because if rook takes here I can take, and take. And so yeah, my opponent should be losing here. e5 is again met by here. Though actually rook d1, rook e8, d5 is actually a move. Now that I'm realizing it, because if I take, I'm up a pawn, but at this point I'm looking to be up more than a pawn, because I feel like I'm completely winning here. And so, do I play rook d1? And then I feel like my opponent's only move is d5, and my opponent should have to go down a pawn. Or do I try to go for more? That is a really good question here. Also, wait, I think my opponent actually just allowed me to get this. Knight h6 check. If king here, I win the queen. And if king here, I go here. And there's no way to protect this. So like they go queen d7. Yeah, wait, I think my opponent allowed this. So if takes, I take here. And I'm looking to move here. And I don't think my opponent has an answer to that. Oh, bishop there. I missed that. Wow, that's a nice move. Okay, so let's go for this. And they go there. So I'm definitely still winning this, but I definitely have to be careful. Okay, let's... I was thinking takes. He takes back, and then I could go queen here. Or queen here. Okay, so let's take this. Has to take this way. And then I'm thinking queen here. And then, but what if queen e7? That's the problem. Because I'm also thinking that if here, okay, let's just take this. That's what's gonna happen for starters. And then go here. And there's no way I can possibly be worse in this position. My opponent's pawn structure is terrible. And yeah. And I have good rooks. Thinking about rook lifts like this to come in this way. And the position is happy for me, but very hard to play. So yeah, I definitely messed this up somewhere. Completely missed bishop d4. So yeah, in retrospect, I should have gone rook d1 or rook e1. Probably rook e1, and I don't see how my opponent gets out of this trouble that they're in. But okay, queen e7, that's a good move. Let's go here. Let's go queen f4 to threaten stuff over here, and also threaten that if this rook ever moves, I have this. And right now I'm threatening to go for this sort of idea. And okay, my opponent goes h5, which I think is not a very good move, but time will tell. Check here. My opponent has to go here. Now I'm thinking this makes some sense. Rook g5, and then I could go for h4 or f4 or something. I think h4 so that I can have f4 later. Okay, so let's go queen h6 check. Make sure my move order, because if I go rook d3, they have rook g5. If my opponent goes here, they lose the rook, so they have to go here. There's not really much to think about that. But, okay, and now let's go here. Threatening this. And if rook g5, I have h4, and then I can take this pawn for free. So we'll see if we get that on the board. If not, I'm not sure what else my opponent could really do. There's also d5 ideas though, because this is pinned. So I might lose the pawn back. Though no, I shouldn't, because I have rook e3. And then I would win the pawn. I would still be up a full pawn. And yeah, the position is looking very good. The time situation is pretty even. So I'm very much liking what's happening right now. So yeah, rook g5 is pretty much an only move, I assume, because otherwise you're getting mated. So rook g5, h4, and here takes. I could go here, and I could try to go back for this one. I could try to even go f4, f5, though. That seems a little bit too greedy. So probably I will just stick up a pawn. So let's go h4. f4 I should have considered probably, but h4 looks more secure because I can go with f3 in the future. And okay, my opponent has to go here. I mean, they could go here, but I don't think it even makes a difference, actually. I still think I play the same move, which is to take this pawn, but we'll see what my opponent does. Okay, so they go there. Expected that. Okay, so now we're up a pawn. So we have a material advantage now, and now it's time to convert it. So queen e5. I think that's a very, very good move. Actually, now that I was thinking, because I was thinking they had to take this way, but they can actually take this way because the rook now would defend. So let's just take that, I assume. Yeah, but I don't want to go into a rook endgame, do I? Especially since their king is so weak. Okay, let's just take this. Okay, they take back. And let's double. The position is very unpleasant for black. Let's go here. If I go here, they go here, though. Is that the idea? Okay. I could also go for this. And this is hard to defend. And after here, let's say they go here. 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 Here, here. Then I can go like this. Attacking this pawn. And then they go like here. I could go then for like a b4 idea maybe. Okay, I can also try to push this pawn on the side of the board. So let's start with rook b3, I guess. See what he commits to. And now I just realized that this is actually a threat to fork us. So I should be careful about that one. So let's just prevent that from being a threat anymore. And, okay, bring the king up. Okay, I guess bring the pawns. Try to push them. Try to go for something like this, I guess, or g5. Maybe try to go for f4 in the future too. d5 comes. Okay. I don't know. I don't think d5 would be here so quickly. I'm thinking about h5, but then here. So okay, let's just take this. And well, I'm not sure how much this trade did for me actually. I kind of want him. No, okay, let's go here. I assume this is going to be played. No, that can't be played, I don't think. No, it can definitely be played, but shouldn't be great. This can definitely be played, but we'll see if it is played. Okay, now we see f6 instead. Now f4 is pretty much yelling to be played, but I don't think it's that good a move. c4 here, king, rook e4, and then f4 ideas. f4 ideas are met by e4, but then c4. So f4, king d6, takes. Okay, let's actually just go king h3, just to help these guys get pushed up the board. And okay, that move comes. Let's go here. And on this, I would want to go here. Oh, I have to charge my battery, it seems. Okay, that might be why. Okay, so my opponent goes there. And now c3 here. My opponent wants to go here, I assume. So I guess I have to stop that from happening. I could go f4 as well. But g4 looks a little bit more natural. Yeah, my opponent has got a lot of counterplay, which is not what I wanted to see. f5 anyways. Which I think might be a little bit of overcommitment. Might not be. Takes. Then I could go like rook g4 to attack this rook. Okay, let's just go back. Let's just not commit to anything too much. And if they want to take here, well, they're going to get a pass pawn, but so am I. And I assume my pass pawns are going to be dangerous as well. Right, tense position right now. And though I think I should be winning this, I hope I'm winning this. They can't really move this rook or else they lose this pawn right here, because this is pinned. And this rook is kind of also tied down because it can't really go anywhere. And g5 is probably going to be played sooner or later. So I like my position here, and I think that my opponent might have tried to get too active. And okay, my opponent goes there. So I'm thinking this is a good move to attack this. Rook f3 check is just met by here, and then you lose this pawn. And now I was thinking to go here and then get into g4 quickly, but then maybe rook f5 comes an idea. So let's go here instead, actually. Yeah. Let's go here instead and try to push like this. Okay, let's go rook e4. Rook e4 looks to be a good move. Rook there. Okay, let's go up the board. d3, trying to create chances somehow. Just take that. Rook takes d3. Let's go up the board. And I assume my opponent's going to go here, or they could go there as well. So let's just go forward. And now I'm threatening this check. Now my opponent has to go back pretty much. So let's go here. And let's just give this check. And give this check. And push this pawn up the board. And now I should be threatening this. But okay, let's go here, threatening this. And also threatening this at the same time. Okay, check. And let's give this check just to get them a little bit farther away. And okay, let's go here. There, takes. Now I'm threatening this, and just got to be careful not to pre-move. Will our opponent respect us enough to resign? I doubt it, but you never know. Oh, thank goodness that they did not punish me for that. Wow. That was very unfortunate that my opponent didn't punish me. And okay, so we managed to take the win there. And I think this was a pretty decent game because it pretty much showed that how out of the opening pins are really important. So this pin is, when you get your bishop off this diagonal, this pin can become very deadly. And that's why against this bishop e5 variation, I think two better moves than bishop c5, which is also a playable move. The best move I think by the engine here is supposed to be knight d4. But a really interesting move is bishop d6, which I think a lot of people don't know. And the idea basically is that after d4, which you might think punishes bishop d6, takes. Black is actually slightly better after here because they just have a ton of pressure on the center. And the other good move is, other than bishop d6, knight d4, is to go bishop b5, which I think is also a good move. Alright, my opponent went here. And yeah, d6 is not supposed to be the best move. After castles, I still think the position is slightly favorable for white after center fork trick. But my opponent went here, takes, bishop d7, and knight e5 was a mistake, which I've had over the board actually. c6, takes, here was winning, and knight e6 was just a blunder. But it was also played by a 2500, so can't make me lose anything there yet. Yeah, I remember this b4 idea constantly comes into play, and after here, I assume now knight h6 king f8. Yeah, knight g4 is much better because there's no longer any bishop coming here. Though bishop c3 is still the best move because after takes, knight takes c4, bishop takes d8, takes here, and this would have been best. But alright, I blundered with this move, missed that. And this was just a very pleasant endgame. h5 was, yeah, blunder, didn't make much sense, but there wasn't really much that black could do at this point. f5 is supposed to be best, but this looked very scary to me. And yeah, picked up h4 is a mistake. f4 was much better. Oh, okay. I'm not sure I understand this because let's say they just continue with what they did in the game. Ah, okay, this is the idea. That makes sense. Okay, yeah, so I did miss that idea. And then this endgame was very much winning. Rook bd3 and then a5. Alright. But this endgame was definitely winning the entire time. And did I ever let it slip? Oh yeah, my opponent had mate in 1. That was, wow, that was really unfortunate. So I had to go here, takes, and then take this. Yeah, so I blundered mate in 1. That is very unfortunate. And then yeah, at the end here I also made a very huge blunder, which is where I pre-moved this because I don't know why I played king f6. But my opponent missed it too, and I managed to win the game. So that's the end of today's video, guys. If you liked the video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.